Stalker, a person who harasses or persecutes someone with unwanted or obsessive attention. A person who hunts game stealthily. This was in 2004. I was making my way back home. Just drained, endless road. I travelled on these roads 100 times, so I swear I could drive it in my sleep. Not that I'm advocating that. So I'm driving along and start to see signs saying that the route I'm on is being diverted. I'm thinking I'm going to be home late. Eventually end up meeting this cop, so I stop for a few moments. He tells me that there's a car crash ahead. This guy was super friendly, eager to offer up information. He's telling me that it's a 2-car crash, thinks it was kids drinking. As he's talking, I remember thinking at the time that his cop car was old. This was 2004, and this guy's cop car is like something out of the early 70s. But we are in rural counties, so I don't know, maybe they don't have funding. He tells me which road to take. I say goodbye and hope no one is hurt and continue on my new extended route. The route is a dirt road, so I'm wide awake. Loads of twists and turns. No traffic though, which I'm thanking God for, because the road gets super narrow in parts, and if I meet a car at speed, it's over. Soon I notice a car's headlights behind me. I'm imagining that there's some guy in the car behind me feeling the same, annoyed about the detour. Slowly this car starts gaining on me, just right behind me. The two of us are the only cars on the road, and I'm thinking this guy is on my ass. Like, back it up. It's dark, so I can't see his face or anything in the mirror. Just 2 rectangle headlights with dim bulbs. Suddenly this car starts to get aggressive. Flashing lights, revving, driving really close to me, then backing off, then doing the same thing again over and over. I figured they just want to pass me and are just being a dick about it, so I move in and let him pass. So this car passes, and this guy is staring at me wide-eyed. He looks super pissed. Looks like he's in his late 40s, like really gaunt face. He's shouting at me. I don't know what he's saying. I watched him speed off ahead. Soon I couldn't even see his car anymore. I just put it down to a typical weird guy encounter. Some crazy local. So I just turned up the radio and settled down again. After a few miles, I remember seeing a sign for a gas station, and I figured I'll stop off, get some gas, stretch my legs, some snacks. So I come up to the gas station, and just off the forecourt is the exact same car that almost ran me off the road earlier. I waited in the car for a moment and just stared out the window, trying to see if it was just the same type of car or definitely the same guy. The car was just stationary, running with the lights on, but I couldn't see anybody inside. After a few minutes I got out, pumped the gas, went into the station. I remember the store was pretty basic, not much to offer. I grabbed a drink and snacks for the road. The guy that served me was pretty quiet, really slow at ringing up the items. Kind of got the impression that he hated his job or something, or maybe he was waiting for me to start a conversation. There was nobody else around, so I figured maybe it was a quiet night for him. So I decided to ask him, did that guy come into the store, pointing to the other car? And he just looked up at me and looked out the window for a while and kind of, made this weird expression on his face, frowned, and finally he turned around and said, "Which guy?" I said, "The guy that owns that car," and pointed to the car. And again he looks out the window for a few moments and says, "What?" And at this point I just think he's baked or something. I said again, a little bit more annoyed at this stage. I was like, the guy driving that car, did he come into the store? He just turned around and said to me, "I don't understand what you're talking about," and quickly he just told me the total, and so I just dropped it, paid for my stuff and left. I remember leaving the store, and for a moment I thought about confronting the guy and asking him why he blew me off the road earlier. What was his problem? But then I just decided against it. After all, he might be some crazy guy, plus I'm tired and I don't want any trouble. Got back into the car, pulled out of the gas station. Absolutely no other cars around, which I thought was weird because the detour should have been sending traffic this way. But then again, it is late, so... I remember as I pulled out in my peripheral vision, I could see the car just in the corner of my eye. So I just turned up the radio and was like, let's just forget about this guy, let's just leave him at the gas station. About 20 minutes or so passed. I rang home to tell them the situation about the detour, sang a few of my favourite songs on the radio. Then I started to hear this weird noise coming at the opposite side of the car, and feeling the steering wheel was pulling. But then I knew before I got out of the car that it had a flat. So I just kind of went into this mindset of don't complain, just get out, jack up the car, replace it, and be on my way. Just be a few minutes, no big issue. I get the spare tire from the trunk, thanking God that I hadn't left the flashlight at home. I left it in the trunk. I have a habit of doing that. And began jacking up the car. Just when I got the flat tire off, the stones on the road lit up. So I lifted up my head and I turned around. I looked up and I saw the lights of a car approaching me in the distance on the hill, driving pretty slow. Then I saw those two rectangle dim headlights again as I got closer. And then it pulled in behind me, but pretty far back. It was the same car that passed me, the same car at the gas station. So at this point I'm panicking. There's absolutely nothing or nobody around. Just like the gas station, the car and him just sat there, stationary, running. I can make out a person in the driver's seat this time though. My tail lights kind of cast this like red glow up into his face. You know when your brain kind of takes a second to process something? That's what happened. I remember first I seen his silhouette in the car and just my brain caught up and put it together, his features. And within that split second, the final picture came together and I just froze from head to toe. This guy, he was gripping the steering wheel with both hands, and his face, he was so angry, showing teeth. He looked like he was so angry. I'll never forget his face. I could see his lips moving. He was he was like saying something, or he was like he was cursing at me, just fixed his eyes, just staring at me. So at this point I'm like afraid. I'm also really pissed off. So I was like, I'm gonna go up to that car and see what's his problem. I walked towards the car, and just when I started to get closer to the car, he started to rev the engine. So I was shouting, I was like, what's your fucking problem? The minute I stop walking towards the car, he stops revving. No reply. So I walk towards him again. He revs the car and moves it forward. He's like blowing the horn. I'm thinking, is this guy gonna run me over? And now I'm a little bit further away from my own car, like where so I was like, I just like flipped him off and just turned and started to walk back to my own car. And then I heard the car just take off behind me. He put the foot to the floor. I turned around, like dirt flying. I remember running as fast as I could towards the car. I was terrified. He could have ran me over easily, but at the last minute he pulled the wheel to the left, and he must have missed me by inches. Then he just looped his car back around to where he was before, facing me again. I just jumped in the car, grabbed my phone. The battery was dead. I'm like panicking. I'm like, he's gonna come kill me. So I'm sitting there thinking that he's gonna murder me, kidnap me, or something's gonna happen. I start to look for like something to protect myself, something to arm myself with. There I am, sitting in the car watching those two rectangle dim headlights in the rearview mirror. And then I remember that I hadn't put on the new tyre yet. So the only way I can get out of this situation is to run into the dark or change the tyre and drive away. And then I hear this voice. He shouts from his car and he says, I want a chase, so I'll let you fix it. I can still hear his voice. I remember getting out of the car shaking, and somehow I managed to pull it together and change the tyre. For all I know, this guy has a gun or something. I just hear him laughing and revving the car and the whole time, and finally I got it on, keeping an eye on the car, you know. Finally I managed to change the tyre. I kept an eye on the car the whole time. I remember getting back into the car and thinking, I don't know where this road leads, but I know that the gas station was behind me, so I should try head back the way I came. So I pull out. So I decide to try go back the way I came. So I pull out and I just foot to the floor. Drove in a loop on the flat, past his car, and I remember seeing nobody in the driver's seat or passenger seat when I was going by, just the car. that sent a shiver up my spine, because I was like, where the fuck did this guy go? I remember driving down the road, going as fast as I possibly could make the car go, half looking in my rear view mirror, waiting for those headlights to appear. But I just seen the red tail lights behind me. It didn't look like he was moving. And finally I made it back to that gas station in about half the time. I drove right up to the door, went in. Same guy who was there who served me explained what happened and how the guy in the car from earlier followed me, tried to run me over. He kind of listens for a bit and then says, there was no car here earlier. And I said, no, the car that I was trying to tell you about. And he said, when you were pointing to the car you were talking about earlier, there was nothing there. That's why I said what? I just thought you were some person who was high or something. He said, you were the first car I've seen tonight. He said that before me, the last customer was 2 hours earlier. And no one has called to him after. And I remember thinking, how can it be quiet? The road's detoured. I was like, there was a guy here in the car. It was out over there. It's like, describe the car. He said, I don't know what to say to you. He said, I don't know anything about a detour. I told him all about the cop and the way he told me to go this way, and we have this back and forth, and it's the same. He's not changing his story. He finally says, I don't know what to say to you. And then he ends up rewinding the station's CCTV from outside when I arrived, and it just showed my car. No car where that guy was at all. Just my car. I made him replay it like about 5 times. Nothing. Just me. He even showed me the footage from inside the store. And it's me talking to him, pointing to the car, and where I'm pointing, there's nothing there. I genuinely thought that I was after having some sort of mental episode. So he can see that I'm obviously out of my mind. It turns out that this guy's dad is actually a cop. So he called his dad and explained that some guy tried to run me over and was stalking me. And the cop comes to the station and he takes some details. I told him what happened and how I was diverted onto this road. He stops and asks me, diverted? Like he's not aware. Radios to find out if there was any accidents or road closures. Comes back, tells me the road I was on wasn't closed. I drove back to where I was diverted, and there's nothing. I just drove home. And that's my story. I have no answers. I don't know who he was or what would have happened if I got stuck there. Thank you to Marc for sending in his story. If you have your own paranormal experience, send them into the show at scaryaparanormalpodcast@gmail.com, and I might just read it out on the show. Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe and follow Scary in whichever platform you use. and join me next Tuesday for another episode.
Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Berner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly.
Put yourself on to Tommy John.
Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details. Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Berner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly.
Put yourself on to Tommy John.
Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details.